I'm L Director, this is L Director Vision, and this is the unboxing of our new toy. This is the URSA Mini 4K, and I got this from Marker Tech because they were the only place that actually had this in stock right now. And so if we take a look here, we've got our little welcome package. That's nice. Software manual inside of there. I think it's cool too, they're using SD cards for everything now instead of CDs, so that's kind of nice. We got full version of DaVinci Resolve Studio 12, and it should have a software SD card and a dongle in here, if I can get the thing opened. There it goes. Yeah, full versions, I love it. And we'll pull out the squishy foam. Oh man, that is tiny. Look at that. I mean, I knew it'd be small, but I didn't know it'd be that small. Full 2-inch display and everything. No, this isn't it. This is the camera for surviving the wild. But this is the real beast. You know, everyone says this thing's light, but this sucker's heavy. This has got some weight to it. That's about what I would expect it to be. The thing's super cold though. I don't want to power it on yet until it has a chance to warm up because of condensation. But look at the size of that display. The thing is huge. This is so cool. I've decided to nickname my camera Rambo. In the fact that Rambo gets things done, and that's what we're going to do with this camera, is get things done and make movies and stuff. We got the power supply, hand strap, and the special cable to connect the grip. This grip is detachable, and that plugs it into the camera, so then I've got record controls and a few other hotkeys up there. And then the power supply doesn't actually come with an OSHA cable to plug it into the wall. So I ordered one of those with it as well. It was a $5 add-on, so we got that. And then I have a V-Lock battery plate that's going to mount onto the back of the camera to mount the V-mount battery, which will be coming on Thursday actually, which is cool. We also ordered a new lens for it. It is my favorite lens of all time that I've ever used. It's the Canon EF 24-105. It's only an f4, but I have a 50mm prime back there that I can use if I need some low light stuff. But this is awesome. This is super cool. For those of you guys that are curious, the last time we did a camera unboxing was back in 2010 when we got the Rebel T2i, which is actually what's being shot with right now. And that was pretty cool. And if you want, click right here, you can watch that video. But this is awesome. So YouTube, meet Rambo. All right guys, so I've had the camera now for 3 weeks and I wanted to now share my thoughts on it, having used the camera rather extensively, and let you guys know kind of the good and the bad and the ugly about the thing. And fortunately there's not a whole lot in terms of the bad and the ugly, I guess you could say. The things, I can't stop looking at it. The thing's just beautiful. I mean, Batman black, got a matching black battery. The battery is huge. I'd say 177 watt-hour battery. This thing will like power the camera for days on end, it seems like, so that's pretty cool. Little backstory here. 6 years ago when I was getting ready to shoot Leap Revelation, up until that point I'd only shot standard def. And HD was starting to make its way into the marketplace now as far as an acquisition format for the independent filmmaker. And I said, I think I want to shoot my next movie on HD. And so I knew I had to, okay, I got to research cameras and figure out what's out there. Because I'm the kind of guy that once I have technology, once I have the camera or, you know, whatever, I kind of stop looking at what else is going on out there. One, so I don't get wrapped up in trying to have the latest and greatest toys, but two, so I can concentrate more on workflow and telling a story with what I've got rather than focusing on upgrading all the time and stuff. So I made a list of my top 3 priorities in a camera. I said I want 1080p, I want to shoot 24 frames per second, because I wanted the film look, and with that I wanted the ability to do interchangeable lenses, whether that meant through some sort of a adapter on the front of the camera, or the camera could actually use lenses, whatever. And I said I don't have a lot of money to do it. So did some research, figured out that the T2i was going to be the best bet for me. And so we've shot with that now for the past 6 years. We shot the entire feature with the T2i and just the kit lens. In fact, it's actually this camera right here. This camera was destroyed in the fire. It no longer works, but we shot an entire feature film with just this setup right here, as you've seen in some of my other videos. And as you can see, the thing is definitely old and decrepit at this point. There we go, good as new. Put that back here. So anyway, the fire happens, and the time obviously comes now to start looking at cameras again. And so I said I want the same things I had before. I want full HD, I want 24p, I want the shallow depth of field with interchangeable lenses. I said plus I want the things that the T2i couldn't give me as far as satisfaction goes. The T2i has moire and aliasing, and if you're not careful about how you're shooting, you're going to see it. In fact, I reckon you could probably even see it right here on this computer monitor behind me, maybe some aliasing going on and stuff with that. And so that's always been a big pain. And then the other big issue was rolling shutter, because we're making these action movies and I do a lot of special effects in them, and the rolling shutter, the jello effect, is just, it's a pain. So I said I want no aliasing, no moire, no rolling shutter, which means you want what's called a global shutter. And I said, I also want a camera that I can grow with, because I grew a lot with the T2i. I'd come from shooting with the little Handycam prosumer cameras to now shooting on a DSLR and having to learn how that all worked and finding the right picture styles and refining a workflow in post and learning more about lighting and things. I said, I want to do all that. I want to be able to grow like I did with the T2i. And what I found, the real sticking point was the global shutter. It's very difficult to find cameras these days with a global shutter. But after looking and looking, I finally settled on the Blackmagic URSA Mini 4K. And it hits all my requirements, which is pretty cool. I'll go and pull this off here. This rig is actually a DSLR rig that I've got it mounted on. Runs about $120 on eBay. This is the Film City rig. I'm not sure which one it is. It's the one without the follow focus, because it was the cheaper option. But it works great. It's balanced perfectly for me. And then the screen ends up being right in front of my face, which is beautiful. I got rid of the offset that you'd use with a DSLR. You can jog them over your camera body, pull that off, and this works out great. So this camera shoots 4K RAW, which is awesome, amazing quality video. But I'm not going to shoot on that yet, because again, that's something I can grow into down the road. Some of the things I've noticed with this in the 3 weeks I've had it, it is definitely a cinema camera. This is not designed for run and gun, point and shoot kind of stuff. You want to light a set, you want to light your scene, unless you're shooting in natural lighting outside. But even then, I've got 5 foot by 7 foot reflectors and bounces and things I can use to help move light around and get light just where I want it. That's where this camera's going to shine. If you're going to like slap a fast lens on this, jack it up to ISO 800 and try to shoot in dark conditions, it's just not going to work. In fact, you don't even want to shoot at ISO 800 on it, because the native ISO is ISO 400. You start shooting at ISO 800, you're going to start introducing more noise into the image and things like that. So keep it at ISO 400, still shoot with the fast lens, but light your scenes. This is a cinema camera, not a run and gun camera. The global shutter's been great. Absolutely love it for the VFX work. I've done some testing with that already. It's just been wonderful. There's no moire or aliasing, which is cool. You know, I'd be out filming trees and stuff at work, because I work in the mountains and there's not a whole lot else to film right now this time of year. And you can see all the detail on the branches. I mean, the camera's just super, super sharp. I did a test putting the Mini 4K and the T2i side by side, shooting the same scene, and there's a night and day difference as far as just the image goes. This is definitely a much more cinematic image, so it's great. One of the downsides with it, how I found initially, was if the camera body is cold and you start it up and start recording, excuse me, after a couple minutes you'll start getting these horizontal lines going throughout your image. And the way you rectify that or remedy that is to power cycle the camera when you see the lines. And so it's not a big deal now that I know it's there, but I kind of complained at first on the Blackmagic forums. I said, guys, what's going on here? I spend all this money on a new camera and I'm getting these lines in the image. They said it's a known issue with the camera sensor. It'll probably be fixed in a firmware update. Until then, just know when you see the lines, power cycle the camera. And what that is it's the cold camera warming up, and it's tripping up something with the sensor when it does that. But then you power cycle it once it's warm, and it's fine, it goes away. So I can work around that because the images it produces is just beautiful. The biggest complaint, though, I would have about this camera is not something I've actually seen mentioned in a lot of reviews, and this is why I wanted to use the camera first before reviewing it. And that's if you are shooting different formats, because you can shoot RAW, you can shoot ProRes, you can shoot 2K, you can shoot 4K, 24p, 60p, I mean, there's all these different options. You cannot, however, play back all your options at once, and that's something that maybe Blackmagic, you guys could fix in a firmware update. I don't know, but like right now, if I shoot 2K ProRes most of the time, 24 frames per second, and then I want to do something in RAW, I flip it over to RAW, and then when I go back to check my shots, I can only view the RAW shots when the camera's in RAW mode. If I want to view the 2K stuff I've been shooting all day in ProRes, I have to flip back over to 2K ProRes, and then I can view those shots. So it's not a big deal if you're aware of it, but if you're the kind of person that's flipping between formats all the time, that may be a bit of an annoyance to you, and I would probably say go with something else at this point if you're the kind of person that is always flipping between stuff. For me, I shoot 2K 24p. Maybe occasionally I'll do some slow-mo stuff, but it's not going to be very often that I do that. So it's not a big deal for me. And the image that I get with it is just, it's totally worth it. The camera is beautiful. The images are beautiful. And I'm just very, very happy with this camera. I will say one other thing for those of you guys that shoot glide cams. The camera, even just the camera itself with just the lens and the battery, is too heavy for the HD 2000, which is what I currently have. And so I'm going to have to order a new one. I'm looking at the Devin Graham one because that will hold cameras up to 12 pounds. If it doesn't work with this camera, then I can get the HD 4000 and probably be okay as well. But this is a beast. You know, everyone says, oh, the camera's so light, the camera's so light. Maybe it's light if you're used to like studio cameras and like, big Hollywood, Alexa rigs and stuff. But I think the thing is heavy. And yeah, it's got some heft to it, but it feels good. It's like a good heft. It's not like, oh, I'm so fatigued. But on a glide cam, that's gonna get really heavy. And so I'm looking at possibly having to get a vest as well with one of the arms on it to help support it on the glide cam. But yeah, that's my short and sweet review of the Blackmagic URSA Mini 4K. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and stick around to get more updates as we go about trying to produce Leap Revelation.